Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to discuss the chapter from your book, and the name of the chapter is From the Diary of the Anne Frank. If I talk about the introduction of the chapter, so this lesson is actually a part of the diary which is written by a young girl or the diary of the Anne Frank. It is actually an autobiography and which was first published in 1947. In this, Annie expresses her thoughts in a diary which was gifted to her on her 13th birthday. She names the diary Kitty, which she considers as her only true friend. डायरी को समझती थी कि बस वही मेरा सच्चा दोस्त है और उसने उस डायरी का नाम भी रखा था और डायरी का नाम उसने रखा था किटी. She mentions about her childhood, her family and a lot other things that she told no one else. बहुत सारी बातें जो वो किसी को नहीं बताती थी वो उस डायरी में लिख दिया करती थी. And author feels that it is a strange and unusual for her to write in a diary about her feeling experiences because it was the first time she was doing it. She feels this because she thinks that in the future no one would be interested in reading about young school going girls past. She thinks that later even she will not be interested in reading, but then she puts these thoughts away and decided that she would write if she feels like doing so. She feels the need to write because there were a lot of thoughts she had holding on to lately, and she needed to get them off her mind. It is known that writing one's thought act as therapy. She makes the decision of writing a therapy. Author को ऐसा लगता था कि ये बड़ा अजीब सा है कि आप अपने सारे जो थॉट्स हैं जो भी आपके दिमाग में आ रहा है वो आप किसी उस पे लिख देते हैं, पेपर पे लिख देते हैं. ओके. और वो ये ऐसा पहली बार कर रही थी. शी फील्स दिस बिकॉज उसने ऐसा इसलिए करा क्योंकि उसको लगता था कि फ्यूचर में किसको इंटरेस्ट होगा. मैं एक छोटी सी बच्ची हूँ जो स्कूल जाती हूँ, कौन ये इस बात में इंटरेस्ट लेगा कि मेरी डायरी को पढ़े. इसीलिए उसको लगा शी फील्स द नीड कि मेरे पास बहुत सारे थॉट्स हैं और इन सबको लिखने का, इन सब थॉट को एक्सप्रेस करने का एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका है कि मैं डायरी लिखना स्टार्ट करूं. Author feels that the paper has much more capacity to absorb thoughts than people. People have the low patience level, but a piece of paper, being a non-living thing, would not refuse from absorbing her thoughts. उसको ये भी लगा जो पेपर है उसमें ज़्यादा कैपेसिटी है कि वो उसकी बातों को एब्जॉर्ब कर ले, क्योंकि देखिए पेपर जो है वो कहीं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाके एक इंसान के पास की बातें सुन के दूसरे इंसान को नहीं बताएगा. ओके. सो उसने इन्हीं सब रीजंस की वजह से डिसाइड किया कि वो डायरी लिखेगी. She thought that the paper had more patience and she decided to write everything that came in her mind because she did not intend on making someone read it unless she found a real friend. उसको लगा जब तक मुझे रियल फ्रेंड नहीं मिलेगा तब तक मैं मैं किसी को पढ़ने नहीं दूँगी, और उसके लिए उसकी डायरी ही रियल फ्रेंड थी. Usually when someone is writing a diary, they list out on in a very informal way. In a very formal way, anyone write the diary, but the author does not want to do. This is because she wanted to give her need for a friend a shape. ठीक है. वो डायरी को डायरी नहीं समझती थी, उसको अपना दोस्त समझ के बिहेव करती थी. ओके. इसलिए वो इतना फॉर्मल वे में डायरी को नहीं लिखा करती थी. अपने फादर के बारे में वो लिखती थी that she refers her father was a just wait a second class. She refers to her father as the most lovable father of the world and the one could get. Her father married her mother when he was the age of the 36 and she was 25. She and her sister Margaret were both born in the Frankfurt. As soon as Anne turned 4, her father moved to the Holland, followed by her mother in September, while both the sisters stay with their grandmother in Aachen. Margaret was also sent to the Holland in December, followed by the Anne in February, who was brought as a birthday present for the Margaret. ओके अपने फादर की तारीफ़ कर रही हैं उसमें कि उनके फादर सबसे अच्छे फादर हैं, इतने अच्छे फादर किसी को नहीं मिल सकते हैं। और उनके फादर ने जब वो 36 ईयर एज के थे तब उनकी मदर से मैरिज करी थी, शादी करी थी, और मदर की एज 25 ईयर्स थी। In Holland, Anne was sent to the Montessori nursery school. It was her first school. She started from the first from she had Mrs. Cupris, the headmistress, as her teacher in 6th, from who even cried at the time of the farewell. In 1941, the author's birthday could not be celebrated because her grandmother fell ill and underwent an operation. And unfortunately, her grandmother left them in 1942. As she loved her grandmother a lot, all the family was in great shock and sadness because of the demise of her grandmother. Okay, and she missed her grandmother more than anyone knows. She then mentions that her family is doing well, which sums up her background and bring her the present date, that is the June 20, 1942, when she is writing her diary. 20 जून 1942 में वो ये डायरी लिख रही है। And addressing it as her friend Kitty, she mentions how her entire class is nervous about their result. It is unpredictable and will be decided by a meeting of the teachers in which they will select students to be moved to the next class or kept back. टीचर्स को डिसाइड करना था कि कौन से बच्चे अगली क्लास में जाएंगे और कौन से बच्चे इसी क्लास में रहेंगे. Many students were making bets. Some had put in their entire summer saving at stake also. And she and her friend also made fun of the nervous boys. They kept on saying to each other that other than I am not going to pass, while other would console them by saying yes you would. And she write the name of her friend is G. G was polite and she tried to stop them from making noise while Annie scolded them. But none of it worked. According to the Annie, about a quarter of the class should not be allowed to pass because they hardly respond to take part in any of the activities. She referred them as dummies. But this may not be case because teachers' decisions can't be predicted. टीचर्स के डिसीजन को वो प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते थे, सोच नहीं कर सकते थे. अपने हिसाब से बच्चे डिसाइड कर रहे थे, बेट लगा रहे थे, परेशान हो रहे थे. दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे क्लास.